How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for talking to me today.
Thanks for having me today.
Awesome. Hey, the show is really fascinating and it's a cool concept and it's a good role for you. And episode three is kind of an emerging episode for Blaine. He starts to come out as a dangerous figure, I guess, for the town by the end of the episode. Um, what do you think was the most challenging thing to show a balance between his good and bad sides?
Um, I'm never worried about uh, a balance of good and bad. If a character is strictly bad, I'll make him bad, and if he's strictly good, I'll do good. I mean, I think with him, the good or bad is depending on what the viewer or the person watching believes. Because for Blaine, he obviously doesn't see himself as a bad person because he has this devout faith in what he believes, and he believes with these revivers that they are essentially the devil's children. So he doesn't see anything bad with wanting to get rid of them in any way possible because that's saving the souls of everyone, right? So, like being the man of God, he sees it, as we know from a lot of religious zealots in the world, that they don't consider themselves bad, right? They're just like, this is for your good. And that's sort of where the whole thing goes with him, right? Is he's like, no, 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 listen, if you want to be saved, we need to get rid of them. You can help me get rid of these revivers. Save yourself, save our town. So for me, there was no like, what's good, what's bad. It's more like he believes it. So Steven, the actor, better believe it, or be convincing in that.
Yeah, there's an intense scene at a funeral, and involving some flames and some heroics, depending on which side of the coin you fall on.
Exactly.
Did they let you play around a little bit with the fire, or was that all special effects, or how did that scene
That
go
was
down?
all that, actors and fire. Nah, never a good mix. And we were in a church, so wooden beams, fire. Mm, no, no, there's none of that. I mean, but we had candles in one of the church, which was really cool. But no, that was one of those things where you get to act. It was fun, you react. And I think there was, which was a story that, of course, I tend to flog a dead horse, as anyone who works with me gets to find out. There was, because in the actual script, when I throw I think it said in now I'm going to mess up this joke, but I think it was like boom, or let's just say it was boom, but it was written in big, bold letters and capitals across the page of the script. So, of course, what I had to do, and I don't think it was boom, it was some other word like that. But of course, when we're doing it, I go boom, and everyone jumps. And then of course I had to do that every time after. Not when I was on camera because obviously I couldn't be saying boom. But yeah, so that was play.
It's a very Ron Burgundy thing. You have to read everything that's on the script.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was my bit. And of course, for some, it's like, oh God, grow up. No.
Sure. Uh, Blaine is definitely a loose adaptation of the source material. Did you take any of that in before you took on the role, or did you just make it your own when you got the scripts for the show?
Well, with Aaron and Luke, it was like because I hadn't read the comic books or the graphic novel, I should say. Um, from the get-go, it was okay. There's this character we're interested in you playing, and he's a sort of a fire and brimstone preacher. And I was immediately like, oh, yes, this is great. Preacher, please go on, go on. And being that from the get-go, it wasn't going to be the Blaine Abel from the graphic novel, I didn't need to go into any of that because I was like, what do we have here? What is this character? What do we want him to be? And we just built it from there. And so through discussions and through their writing, Blaine appears. And then it was sort of the physicality of him was really on because again, it doesn't matter how much you go over scripts, read your lines. When you hit the set and you look at another actor and some wind blows a different direction, it becomes different. So that's how then physically, when Blaine is first sort of seen, the garage when he walks and they walk up. it just immediately felt sort of the stillness and the presence of I don't need to, like, hey guys, settle down. There's one person judging us here, and that's up there. So everyone, so the stillness quickly came that first day of shooting. That was like, well, I like this. Someone who's just very still and will just get, and especially with my size, much larger than, well, aside David's the same size, but playing up to, especially with Romy, just to be going right down and sort of like, hey, little girl, like that was fun. So all of that came once you're physically in the scene and actually doing it. So that's where that developed along as the show went.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point about the physicality and your size. I found it probably the most noticeable of any of the roles you've been in the scenes that have aired so far in some of the screeners, where you definitely tower over them, but that you have this calm demeanor. But there's a little bit of a bubbling rage underneath that we haven't quite seen yet. Is that kind of what you're trying to portray, or is he just that chill all the time and just confident?
Well, the idea was again being there's a higher source than him. So Blaine, don't need to scream and shout because he'll do the judging, not me. So that became more and more. I went into that. I went deeper into that sense of, hey, chill. Because even with my size, like with Romy, who's, much shorter than me, just standing next to someone much shorter, you're just there, just be present. And yeah, that just came sort of naturally with the reality of the situation.
Yeah, it played well, and it played well with how you kind of had that reserved, uh, you know, the charisma, the gravitas.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's fun to do that.
Yeah, for sure. The ideas are also really interesting themes, and I'm curious about you, Stephen. How would you react if people started reviving like they did in the show? Would you think it was a blessing or a curse?
I mean, I'm not a fan of these worlds, like apocalyptic worlds. I don't want to live through those. I'd probably just say good night, goodbye. Thanks for my time on this planet. Um, yeah, I just have no interest in living in worlds with that kind of stuff. It's not good or bad. It's just not my cup of tea. So I'd find a way to go night night.
Yeah, that's fair. Uh, Melanie Scrofano is terrific. I'm a big fan of hers, and she's executive producer, lead of the show. What's it been like working with her? And she definitely has a fun quality on screen. Is she like that off camera as well?
Yeah, she's great. Like I'm usually, and I don't want to say I'm usually the jackass because I'm not, and I like to have fun. Let's put it that way. And sometimes say things that not that they're not appropriate, but just to have to play around. Well, with Melanie, I don't have to worry because she's up here. So I'm like, okay, cool. It's all good. She's hilarious. I'm usually the one, especially doing press and stuff, where people are, watch your mouth, Steven. But no, Melanie said stuff from the get-go that I was like, okay, this is fine. She's awesome. She's just yeah, she's got a great energy and funny, very sarcastic and uh, yeah, her humor is great.
Well, can you tease or set up something that's coming up for Blaine in the upcoming episodes? I mean, obviously we don't know too much, but give us a little something to look forward to.
Blaine sings,
You're
and
kidding.
yeah, and it's not a musical. Let's put it that way. I get to, as preachers do, they get to start the hymn, if you will, right? It's a hymn, yeah, hymn. Um, so yeah, which was one of my favorite scenes to shoot because it's kind of terrifying to sing, especially a tune, a hymn that I kept slipping into like a Merry Christmas song because I'm not used to hymns. So that comes and then following this hymn there's a really wonderful sort of a sermon that Blaine gives that I think is so wonderful. It's shot beautifully. So the combination of this beautiful camera work and Blaine sort of giving this sermon with a hymn is, I think, is pretty epic. And everything I've seen of it, I'm like it, it's not, I'm not being precious with looking at myself or not, but I'm like, man, that looks cool. It just looks epic.
Well,
Like you want that as big as possible because it's a very cinematic moment, I feel.
that sounds awesome. Are you a singer in real life? I mean, you've got a very commanding voice, but
Love to sing, and I have so many friends or singers, songwriters, musicians. At one point, I wanted to do a duet with one of them, but I'm not like a singer. I just love to sing, and I love music. So it's one of those things of I just enjoy there. I love singing. But like
awesome.
singing in the
What?
shower type of thing, but not always in the shower. Singing in the car, I'll sing all the time.
Sure.
I sing to my dad. I do like to sing, but there's nothing professional about this.
That's awesome. Hey, well, thanks so much for the time. I really enjoy the show. I enjoy your performance on the show,
Thank you.
and I can't wait to see the singing episode. I haven't gotten to that one yet,
That's
so
not like a whole
um,
episode of singing, and
well,
you never know. Maybe they cut the whole thing out and I don't sing because they were like, I don't think the world needs this, which I'd understand, but hopefully I think there's some of it in and you get to enjoy.